G'day guys, welcome to the Ally on Herbs show with Ally Sanchez. I'm your host Peter Montgomery from the petermontgomeryshow.com. Now Ally is a practicing traditional herbalist working out of her clinic in Glenbrook, which is in the Blue Mountains just outside of Sydney. Now every week we catch up with Ally to find out about the benefits of the common herbs that you might even have in your own garden right now. And Ally's very passionate about educating the general public on this stuff. So Ally, this week I want to ask you about the benefits of rosemary. What can rosemary do for people?
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for asking. First, I do have to say that whenever we're using any herbs in the gardens medicinally, that you do make sure that they're identified correctly. So if you're not 100% sure of your plant, for rosemary, it's Rosemary Aris officinalis. You can just take that to a local nursery. You know, I've got some here. If you're taking it to the nursery, it's a good idea to take leaves, and if it's flowering, to take the flower as well. But the common herbs are so easy to identify, so you shouldn't have any problem going to a nursery for that reason. So, yeah. Now, rosemary. Rosemary has an association throughout history with remembrance. And one of the reasons of this, or probably the main reason, is that rosemary does work really well with our brains and helps us to remember things. So if you're the sort of person that forgets the shopping list or, you know, to pick the kids up after school, I think a cup of rosemary tea might be ideal for you. Another thing that we use rosemary for, rosemary is great for those people that are very cold, you know, they have very cold extremities. There's sort of people that really feel in the winter times like, you know, it's the worst thing for them. These people too, they might often have digestive problems. They could have, you know, they could get depressed quite easily or get headaches quite easily. Rosemary is a real warming herb, so it's really ideal for these cold type of people to get rosemary into their lives as well. Lastly, with rosemary, rosemary is a very, what we call an aromatic herb, which means that it's got a lot of oils in it. And these oils, we use essential oils. Oh, there it is. Rosemary essential oil. And rosemary essential oil is great for the limbs, for the muscles, particularly after exercising. So maybe, you know, you're going for your daily jog or to the gym or gardening, whatever it is. A rosemary bath is really restoring for those nerves and muscles. So a few drops in the bath is a great idea. Or you can also mix it with some plant-based oils or some olive oils to make a massage massage oiler, and then just rub that over any sore muscles. Or for headaches even, you know, if you've got a headache coming on, again, you can use the essential oil.
Okay, so how can people use the actual rosemary? So if they go out to their garden, pick out some rosemary, then they've identified it correctly, how can they actually use that to make the tea? Like, what's the process there?
No. Okay, well, rosemary straight from the garden, you can use fresh. To make a tea, we'll use the leaves, so you can just pull the leaves off. And you'd use about a good tablespoon size in a cup of tea. So you put your herbs in the bottom of the tea. A great idea for teas is using, you know, those coffee plungers that you make coffee plungers. Well, instead of making coffee, you can make herbal tea. So you put about a tablespoon of the fresh herb per cup of water. And you really need to let it sit for about 20 minutes so that all the medicinal qualities can come into the water. And you'd drink a cup of that rosemary tea probably about 3 or 4 times a day. It would be a good idea. At the clinic, I actually use what's called a tincture. So that's rosemary with a bit of alcohol and water. And that draws out the medicinal qualities. The tinctures are a lot stronger, but they tend to be what's used by professional herbalists. But perhaps one day, Pete, we can do a show on making tinctures for home.
Okay,
because
yeah, that'd be cool.
Simple to make at home, and you know, why not?
Excellent. All right, Ally, thanks so much for doing our first episode. This has been awesome, and I look forward to next week. So you make it a great week, and I'll catch up with you then.
Okay, great. Thanks, Pete. You have a good week too, buddy.